What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video, and the main topic of this video is Kai Havertz, because the Leverkusen manager Peter Bosz has actually admitted that the decision over Kai Havertz's future is out of his hands. So it will be not the manager or the club who decides where Kai Havertz will go next, but Kai Havertz himself will decide what he will do next. And he also spoke out about his future in an interview. So let me know guys, do you want him at Liverpool? Do you think he's worth 70-80 million pounds, the transfer fee that it would probably take a lot of money to take him out of Leverkusen? But he scored 20 goals last season and he started the season on fire. He scored for Germany recently during the internationals, and he has been scoring goals for Leverkusen this season as well. And he's actually one of my favorite young midfielders at the moment in world football. I just love watching him play. I've been watching the Bundesliga highlights quite often, and Kai Havertz always stands out of that Leverkusen team. The German winger is attracting a lot of interest from a lot of elite European football clubs after, of course, scoring 20 goals. Liverpool and Manchester United are both thought to be keen on signing Kai Havertz, while also Bayern Munich are monitoring his situation. So Havertz failed to secure a move this summer, but he has actually toyed and teased with the idea that he could be leaving Leverkusen in the not too distant future. This is what Havertz said: "They haven't scared me off. I don't know exactly what it was like with Timo Werner, but it just didn't happen for me this year. I think there were a number of reasons why, but I'm happy to be here and stay in Leverkusen for another year, and then we will see what happens in the next January or next summer." And he also was speaking on his possible options in the summer. Havertz told Bild, the newspaper, the German newspaper, "I really don't know yet whether Bayern Munich is the next step or the right step for me. I also don't know whether foreign countries would be or would not be more suitable for me. I really don't think too much about it at the moment." Regardless of who is interested in Kai Havertz, Peter Bosz is resigned to losing him this year or next. Of course, I would like to keep him, just as I would have liked to keep Julian Brandt, for example, but Kai Havertz is only 20 years old and he still has a lot of room for improvement. I can help him there, but it is like this. At the end of the player himself must feel when he is ready for the next step. Nobody can decide that for him. So at the moment it looks like Kai Havertz is not too sure what he should do. He's not too sure whether he should stay at Leverkusen for one more year or go to a top club. But I think that when the really big clubs come calling, I mean Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Man United, Kai Havertz will move, because at this stage of his career, I'm not sure if he would get these opportunities every single year if he decides to stay at Leverkusen. Because we have seen with other players that if they wait a little bit too long, the hype around them dies down and then the big clubs won't be interested in him. And I mean, if you are Kai Havertz, put yourself into his shoes. Would you turn down Bayern Munich or Liverpool if they come calling next January or next summer? Certainly I don't think so. Don't get me wrong, Leverkusen is a big club in Germany, but they are not a big club in Europe in terms of elite clubs. They are a medium-sized club in terms of European pedigree. So I think that Kai Havertz definitely will move. The big question is when and to which club. And I think Kai Havertz would suit the Liverpool playing style really, really well, because he's a player who has brilliant dribbling ability. He has an eye for a goal. He can shoot from distance, and something that the Liverpool midfielders don't do that often. And also he can give assists, but his goal scoring ability is brilliant. He reminds me of a young Frank Lampard in that he always has a knack of timing his runs into the box perfectly. So he sweeps up the second balls, or he just shoots when he gets a layoff from a striker or a winger, and he more often than not finds the back of the net. I mean, you don't score 20 goals as a 20-year-old player in the Bundesliga unless you have a great shooting ability. So I think that this would be a good transfer move for Liverpool. But let me know, what do you think, guys, in the comments below. And Trent Alexander-Arnold spoke about Liverpool's resilience and what it took for Liverpool to get to 8 wins out of 8 games this season. The players that we have on our side, they have all had failures before. We have all had setbacks and knockbacks. We have really bounced back from there and got to where we are now and where we are as a team. The biggest example of that is probably the fact that we lost the Champions League final the season before, and we were able to use that as motivation to get back there and win the Champions League next season. It's something a lot of teams are capable of, but we have showed that we are able to get better from disappointment. And I think the major reason why Liverpool are so relentless and so motivated this season in the Premier League is that we are using last season's failure to win the Premier League title as motivation for this season's Premier League season. And also, I think Jurgen Klopp and the Liverpool players learned last season that you have to be ruthless, you have to aim to win every game. You can't settle for a point in some games, because against this incredible, relentless Manchester City side, even drawing some games is not enough. I mean, Liverpool got to 97 points and it's still mind-blowing that it wasn't enough for the Premier League title. So I think that Liverpool need to do a lot more still if we want to win the Premier League. And Virgil van Dijk gave a very interesting interview. He's trying to lessen the pressure on Liverpool. He said that Liverpool's biggest games of the season will be the Champions League games and will be the ones that decide the title, not the clash against Manchester United. This is what he said. It's a massive game. It's more massive for the fans. I think all of the Champions League games are as big as this Man United game. The whole atmosphere and leading up to the actual game is bigger than some other games, but I don't think it's the biggest game of the season. The big ones are the Champions League games and the ones that are hopefully going to win us the Premier League title. So I think that Van Dijk is trying to ease the pressure a little bit on the Liverpool side, and I agree with him. This game, it's in such an early stage of the season that it doesn't feel like a title decider, if you like. But if you take into consideration that Jurgen Klopp has never won a game at Old Trafford against Manchester United, then this feels like a defining game of the title race, because in previous seasons when Liverpool were fighting for the title, we could never win at Old Trafford. The only time I think we won was when we finished second on the Brendan Rodgers, and also when we finished second on the Rafa Benitez. Both times we managed to win at Old Trafford, but even last season when Liverpool got to 97 points, we couldn't win at Old Trafford. And if we done so, we could have won the title with 99 points. Of course, that's just theoretical, but my main point is Liverpool don't go to Old Trafford to win games. We don't win there regularly, season in, season out. So if we want to win the title, I think we need to win this game. Man United are at their weakest for 30 years, and this is probably the best Liverpool side for 30 years. So I think that Liverpool really need to win this one. I won't be happy with the point, I will be honest, especially if Man City beat Crystal Palace on Saturday, and we will know the Man City result by the time we play Man United. And if Man City, God forbid, they drop points against Crystal Palace, then oh boy, what a huge opportunity that is. To go 10 points clear at the top of the table. Can you imagine? After like 9 games, that would be monumental. So yeah, let me know. Do you think this is our biggest game of the season? Or do you think Van Dijk is right and this is just one of the biggest, and the biggest ones will be at the end of the season in the Champions League quarterfinals, semi-finals, and also the title deciders? Former Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger, who I have a lot of respect for him, he said that Sadio Mane is a big candidate for the Ballon d'Or even though most believe it's a straight shootout between Van Dijk and Messi. But Wenger said this: Mane was the outstanding character, I would say, because he's a fighter and he's very efficient. He is not scared of anybody. At the moment, he deserves huge credit. I think the main reason why Mane won't win a prestigious award like the Ballon d'Or is because it's a popularity contest, and Mane is not the most popular footballer. He's not even the most popular African player in the world. That's probably Mo Salah at the moment, but maybe Aubameyang as well. But I think the main reason is that the Ballon d'Or vote usually doesn't go to the player who had the best season, but to the player who had a very good season, and who is very, very popular among journalists and fans and managers. And Carles Puyol, who is a Barcelona legendary defender, even he said that Virgil van Dijk is one of the best in the world. He is the complete defender. He's always calm and a great player. The spotlight usually goes to the strikers, so it is nice to see a special defender get deserved recognition. And of course Puyol would say that because he was a defender himself as well. And I started watching football when Puyol was in his prime at Barcelona, so I remember him as being one of the best centre-backs in the world. And Rafa Benitez commented on the title race in his latest blog post, and this is what he said: if you look at the league table in the Premier League, Liverpool have a great advantage at the moment, 8 points clear, but it is too early to tell much from that. But Manchester City can't make too many mistakes or the pressure might become too much on them, especially as later they will start thinking about the Champions League, especially when the knockout stages begin, and lose their focus on the Premier League, which obviously would be good for Liverpool. And I think this could be a case. This actually is a very good point from Rafa Benitez, that if the distance between Liverpool and Man City come the knockout stages of the Champions League is like 10, 12 points, and Liverpool just keep on winning, keep on churning out results, then Manchester City might just focus more on the Champions League, because that's the trophy that Guardiola wants to win the most with Manchester City, in my opinion. And he already has 2 Premier League titles with Man City. Of course, he wouldn't give up the Premier League title race, but maybe he will go full strength in the Champions League and rest 1 or 2 key players in the Premier League. It's going to be very interesting to see how it pans out, but of course there is still a long way to go until the February knockout stages arrive, and there is a lot of football to be played until then. What Liverpool need to do is win the games that they are expected to win, and of course we have Manchester United, Tottenham, I think after that Aston Villa and Manchester City. These 4 games, if we could come away with like 9 or 10 points from these 4 games, it would be absolutely massive. And I think the Manchester City game is monumental. If we could beat Manchester City at Anfield, and with their weaker defense, I think they will be dreading that trip. If we could beat them somehow and open up a really big gap, like something like 10 or 12 points, that would really kill off Manchester City's momentum, in my opinion. And they would start doubting themselves that this season they can win the title. So I think that is a very key moment in the title race. El Hadji Diouf, who is a player, repeatedly keeps slagging off Liverpool after he had a troubled time at Anfield. He actually came out in an interview and said that Liverpool bottled winning the Premier League title last season. This is what he said in an early season interview. So this was before Liverpool won 8 games in a row to start the season. I don't see Liverpool doing as well this season as they did last season. They had the chance to win the league title last season. They had it in their hands and then they let it slip. They were 7 points ahead around Christmas. How Manchester City got in the end beats my mind. As they say in England, I think they bottled it. If you have only 1 defeat in a whole season, surely you can't say that you didn't win the league. So it's hard for me to imagine them having such a similar season and coming out as champions. Manchester City will be the team to beat once again. Wow, that is... I don't even want to say my exact thoughts. I mean, El Hadji Diouf, probably because of the way that he was treated by the fans. I mean, he didn't really live up to the hype. We signed him only because he had a really great World Cup, and he never lived up to that expectation. And also El Hadji Diouf only scored 6 goals in 80 appearances for Liverpool, which is absolute disastrous. That's like 2 full seasons, and to score only 6 goals, I mean, you don't need to be an expert to say that's awful. That's an awful return for a striker anywhere in the world. And this is what El Hadji Diouf said. Don't get me wrong, Liverpool as a club is run very well, but based on what I hear from Sadio Mane, but I feel I was seen as an outsider back then. The upsetting thing is that Barcelona and Real Madrid had offered me more money, but I really wanted to go to Liverpool, and it ended up being one of my worst experiences. I think this actually explains why he keeps slagging off Liverpool. He probably still has a bitterness towards the whole Liverpool transfer move, and why maybe he didn't accept the Real Madrid or Barcelona offers. But you know, he can only blame himself, because if he would have lit Anfield on fire and scored like 20 goals a season, I'm sure that even a good Spanish club like Real Madrid or Barcelona maybe could have been interested in him. But yeah, that's all water under a bridge. I think that El Hadji Diouf has no authority to talk badly about Liverpool, really, because as I said, he had an awful record at Liverpool, and he's not really a football expert. So yeah, let me know what you think about all the topics that we discussed in this video, and thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. See you later. Goodbye.